A dual display laptop that's only 16mm slim, only weighs 1.6 kilos, and has 16 hours of video playback live. It's 2021 and the future is here in our brand new Zenbook Duo 14. I'm sure you agree those are impressive specs, but you might be wondering, what's the point of having a second display in a laptop though? Well, let me show you. I'm sure we've all been there. Lots of open apps, browser tabs, overlapping app windows, resizing apps again and again, trying to fit everything together, all tabbing back and forth. This can get pretty annoying and hold you back and make you feel almost claustrophobic on ultra-portable laptops. With our 14-inch Zenbook Duo, you have 50% more screen space with you, anywhere, without having to carry or set up an extra monitor. More and more customers are realizing the benefits of having that extra screen space, especially when working and studying from home. In 2020, in most countries worldwide, around 1 in every 5 Zenbooks we sold was a Zenbook Duo with a second display. The brand new 2021 models like this one are even better, with the ScreenPad Plus, the second display, being tilted to a nice angle, plus a couple of upgrades and improvements. Windows recognizes the ScreenPad Plus as a second monitor, so you can drag and drop any app over, or merge both displays into one large one. For video editing, for example, toolbars, previews, and materials are always competing for screen space. With a Zenbook Duo, you can edit videos by placing the timeline on the ScreenPad Plus, so now you can have the whole main display to view and work on the actual video in full resolution. When editing pictures or other assets, you can place reference material, filters, and source files on the ScreenPad Plus as well, to avoid having to switch between folders when editing photos. This is even more convenient and fun when using a stylus. Even something as simple as showing multiple files and folders, local and in the cloud, is a common multitasking scenario we notice our customers are using frequently. When modeling and editing 3D files, again, reference assets, images, and material and textures can be placed on the ScreenPad Plus, which frees up the main display to see your model in full size without any distractions. When writing or editing articles or presentations, you usually need space for files, photos, graphs, or videos that you plan to use as a reference or plan to embed in the article or presentation itself. On a Zenbook Duo, you can keep those references visible on the ScreenPad Plus, so you can quickly cross-check anytime without going crazy on the Alt tab. When working and studying from home, chat and call apps often block part of the screen, but you want to have other files open to read and watch and have a separate chat window maybe. With a single display, having this all shown at once means content is squeezed together and often hard to still read. On a Zenbook Duo, you can multitask at full speed and still view the entire video call. And that's not all. We fine-tuned our Screen Expert companion app to make the most of the second display. We completely revamped the UI of the ScreenPad Plus control center, which is now much more snappy, intuitive, and convenient to use. The Screen Expert bar on the left now has a set of handy quick access shortcuts and can be minimized to a small button you can drag to anywhere on the ScreenPad Plus. You can dock the Screen Expert bar to the left, bottom, or right side of the ScreenPad Plus so it doesn't overlap or interfere with other apps you want on the ScreenPad Plus. And you can even hide the control bar and button completely. We also added a light mode and a dark mode. So if you choose dark mode on your browser or in Windows, you can now match the UI of your ScreenPad Plus to your overall look on your system. We also made it easier and more convenient to flick windows from the main screen to the ScreenPad Plus and back. You simply touch a window and then flick it down or up to move it from one display to the other. We even added an option to let you turn the entire ScreenPad Plus into a massive touchpad with a simple 3-finger tap. This is really useful for anyone with a stylus as well, such as our ASUS pen, which is compatible with all 2021 Zenbook Duo models. You can think of it as a built-in digital drawing board, essentially. Our new and improved task group feature lets you capture and restore how you arranged multiple app windows on the main display and ScreenPad Plus. Creating and switching between your own group of apps is now quicker and more intuitive, so you can create one profile and one group of apps for, let's say, a video call, another for your lunch break, and another for doing emails. Remember those examples I showed for different scenarios earlier of how much better everything looks with ScreenPad Plus? You can create a profile for each of those basically, capture which app sits where. And you can then switch between all of them with the press of a single shortcut button, back and forth. Basically a super Alt-Tab shortcut that doesn't just switch between individual apps, but different groups of apps. You can now also access Link to My ASUS straight from the ScreenPad Plus, so you can make or receive phone calls via your paired phone from the comfort of your laptop. And finally, my personal favorite. Based on feedback and close cooperation with some of our power users and creators, we added a new app, the ScreenPad Plus Control Panel. Using the ScreenPad Plus, you can now create your own fully customizable virtual deck of sliders, buttons, and dials that can be programmed to perform almost any function in apps such as Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, Adobe Premiere, and After Effects. Each of those apps comes with its own unique deck that launches together with the Adobe suite you run. You can customize the deck for each of these apps to any layout you want, and can assign pretty much any function to a button, dial, or slider. And we're working out the details on how to open up our control panel to third-party developers so they can add support as well. I can't wait to see support added for open source broadcasting and streaming apps, for example. With all these new tools and upgrades, the goal is to let our users unleash their full creativity. And what's new under the hood in our 2021 Zenbook Duo 14? Thanks to the ScreenPad Plus tilting up, we get a much better viewing angle and touch angle, and a nice cooling boost. And yes, both displays are touch-enabled and support styluses like our ASUS Pen. By combining both ErgoLift and AAS Plus, we're able to reduce the visual gap between both displays. The 2021 Zenbook Duo 14 is naturally based on Intel's latest and most powerful 11th gen CPUs with AIPT, which boosts performance by over 40% compared to a standard 11th gen laptop. The 2021 Zenbook Duo 14-inch is also Intel Evo certified, which is Intel's latest standard for next-gen ultra portables. It comes with 32 GB of high-speed 4266 MHz memory and a fast 1 TB SSD for storage, which you can upgrade later on. And besides powerful Intel Iris Xe graphics, there's an option for an NVIDIA MX450 GPU as well, which is twice as fast as the MX250 in the 2020 model. Connectivity-wise, you get 2 Type-C ports with Thunderbolt 4 and a full-size USB Type-A. You also get a full-size HDMI port, so you don't have to bring or borrow a dongle or adapter to connect to TVs, projectors, monitors, USB flash drives, and so on. It also comes with a 3.5mm audio combo jack and a microSD reader to top things off. And based on popular demand, we tweaked the keyboard layout of the 2021 Zenbook Duo 14-inch, which now matches that of the Pro Duo 15-inch with a spacious right-shift key. It also comes with high-speed Wi-Fi 6 with ASUS Wi-Fi Master Premium for ultra-fast internet connections. Despite all these upgrades, we actually managed to make the Zenbook Duo 14-inch around 15% slimmer and 50 grams lighter. It comes in at 16.9mm and only 1.6 kilos, which is very similar to high-performance laptops with a single display only. Every 2021 Zenbook Duo 14 will come with its own foldable laptop stand that you can attach to the bottom of the chassis and then fold it up for even better viewing and typing angles. With the latest Microsoft Pen protocol MPP 2.0, you can also hold the ASUS Pen at almost any angle and write more naturally. It also has a lower response time and higher pressure sensitivity for very realistic brushstrokes. That's a bundle option as well, the ASUS Pen. And it works on the main display and on the ScreenPad Plus. And there's a nice sleeve bundle option as well, which has a little pouch up here. We can slide in the ASUS Pen just like this. There's also an option for a backpack bundle, you see right over here, that comes with Zenbook 14 2021 versions. I think you're beginning to see a trend here of why more and more people chose one of our Zenbook Duo laptops. This isn't just a gimmick. The ScreenPad Plus, the second display, really does improve your workflow, saves you time, and lets you work more comfortably, keeping an eye on everything. If you want to know more, there's a second part to this video. Think of it as the director's cut, where we go into more details and explain how we managed to squeeze so much tech and innovative features into this powerful multitasking powerhouse, our 2021 Zenbook Duo. Welcome to the detailed deep dive into the 2021 Zenbook Duo 14-inch. We talked about all the key specs and features and cool stuff you can do thanks to the new ScreenPad Plus. In this video, I'll talk mostly about the how and the why and the technical details. So if you haven't watched our quick overview, I suggest you watch that one first. Alright, let's talk about the why. Why did we add a second display to our Zenbooks to begin with? Well, displays are probably the most important part in our laptops and other portable devices. And although we want big displays, we also want the device to be as compact and lightweight as possible so we can move around freely. Bigger display, smaller chassis equals slim bezels and high screen-to-body ratios. Modern devices have achieved impressive screen-to-body ratios of over 90%, but we always want more. And actually, if you think about it, even 100% screen-to-body ratio is not enough. Essentially, what we want is a compact device that somehow magically transforms into a giant display, or project a display onto a wall or a hologram. This all sounds very science fiction-like, but the reason it exists in science fiction is because a lot of us are intrigued by this idea and would like something like this for real. There are folding devices, but if you want a device today with top-of-the-line performance and specs that has a solid build that will last for many years with as much screen space as possible, our Zenbook Duo series is the closest thing to this dream of a compact device that magically transforms into a large display. In the 2021 Zenbook Duo 14-inch, we tilt up the display to reduce the gap between both displays as much as possible. We call this AAS Plus, our active aerodynamic system, where we open up the chassis and tilt up the ScreenPad Plus for better viewing angles and improved airflow. At the same time, we implement ErgoLift, which lifts up the entire laptop body from the desk to improve airflow and typing and viewing angles even more. This is actually not easy to do at all. The hinge mechanism to do both of this at the same time is pretty complex, and we originally had to increase the laptop dimensions and weight. But we knew from surveys that a lot of our customers would really appreciate a slimmer and lighter chassis, especially for the Zenbook Duo 14-inch. So we went back to the drawing board and created a completely new hinge mechanism for the Zenbook Duo 2021 series, which is smaller and lighter than other designs. This redesigned hinge not only allowed us to tilt the ScreenPad Plus up, lift up the chassis via ErgoLift, but even made the 2021 models slimmer and lighter than the current 2020 models. But even with those impressively compact and lightweight hinges, we had to rearrange the internal components to make space for them. Our engineers went ahead and played some 3D Tetris and figured out that by moving some components to a daughter board and switching to an advanced 10-layer PCB, we could reduce the total PCB space. We lift up the ScreenPad Plus to improve the viewing angle and make it look brighter, but we also boosted the panel brightness itself to 400 nits, a notable increase compared to the 2020 model. So the main and secondary display now have the same brightness of 400 nits. The 100% sRGB Full HD main display is now available in a 1 watt panel option as well. The same we offer on our other Zenbooks. It's also TÜV Rheinland certified for low harmful blue light emissions. So besides the usual performance and battery life improvements that come with the latest CPUs and overall components and parts, the Zenbook Duo 14 2021 gets an extra battery life boost thanks to its 1 watt panel. It's able to run through our video playback test for around 16 hours with the ScreenPad Plus turned off, and even with the ScreenPad Plus turned on the whole time, still manages an impressive 12 hours. Thanks to our dedicated keyboard button to turn the ScreenPad Plus on and off, you can quickly disable it to boost your battery life whenever you don't need it. So you just turn it on and off with the button right there. Like I mentioned, we spend a whole lot more time in front of our laptops these days. And blue light is well known to cause tired, red, and itchy eyes. It disrupts our sleep cycle and prevents us from having a restful, deep sleep, and also to recover from exercise. For children studying from home, the impact is actually more severe, as the lenses in our eyes are much more transparent to blue light at a young age. This essentially means kids get up to double the dose of harmful blue light compared to what we experience. We now have a blue light filter app built into the My ASUS app on all our laptops, which uses some clever tricks to reduce just as much blue light as a conventional blue light filtering app, but with much less of a color shift towards the yellow-orange tint you usually get. The 2021 Zenbook Duo 14-inch comes with the latest Intel 11th Gen U-series processors with Iris Xe and an MX450 dedicated GPU option, which more than doubles its 3D performance compared to the MX250 in the current model. Memory-wise, we made a huge leap here, going from 16 GB 2133 MHz DDR3 memory to 32 GB LPDDR4X memory running at 4266 MHz. So that's double the size, double the clock speed, going from the 2020 to the 2021 version. We also improved the keyboard layout and have a full-length right-shift key now, right here. The Zenbook Duo 14-inch 11th Gen Intel CPU supports AIPT, which means we can boost it from the default 15 watts all the way to 28 watts. Not just occasionally, but it can run 28 watts non-stop. And for short-term loads, it can actually boost the TDP even higher than 28 watts. This gives you a CPU performance boost of 40% or even more, depending on the application you're using. Pretty impressive for such a slim and light ultra-portable. When switching to performance mode, you not only get that extra 28 watt CPU performance, on the MX450 version we boosted GPU as well, which gives you a 20% GPU performance uplift on top. So to unlock that extra performance, all you need to do is switch your AIPT laptop to performance mode. Why isn't it always running in performance mode? Well, more performance means more power and your fans are going to spin faster. While 40 decibels isn't bad at all, some people want their laptop to be whisper quiet, which is why we made this performance boost optional. In performance mode, your CPU will now be able to run at 28 watt nonstop all day and can boost even higher than 28 watt for short periods of time. In the default balanced mode, on many models, we actually already boost the CPU performance compared to the reference 11th gen spec, while at the same time keeping surface temperatures nice and comfortable and fan noise below 35 decibels. And for anyone who appreciates a quiet room without any ambient sounds at all, our whisper mode limits the noise generated by the laptop to just 28 decibels. That's quieter than a breeze. This makes it ideal for working in quiet environments or binge watching your favorite shows. And since it limits CPU performance to achieve these impressively low fan speed, it boosts the battery life too. You can switch between these three operating modes by pressing the FN and F keys and then toggle between the different modes. Or you can launch the My ASUS app by either pressing the F12 button or through the Start menu in Windows. Under Hardware Settings, you'll then see AIPT and the option to switch to any of the three modes you want to use. The most impressive mode is definitely the performance mode. In this mode, the laptop pushes the power of your 11th gen Intel CPU to its full 28 watts of power. This boosts performance by as much as 40% or even more compared to the same CPU running at only 15 watts, the default setting. The performance mode is great for running heavy computing loads like video editing or playing games as well. And yes, since the Intel Iris Xe graphics shares its power budget with the CPU, giving the CPU extra power means the Iris Xe graphics are able to run at a higher performance level as well. The surprising thing about AIPT is that it barely consumes more power compared to the default balanced mode. This depends on how exactly you use your laptop, but essentially, since the laptop performs better, it finishes its task faster and can switch to a lower power idle setting faster. AIPT is not just a simple TDP setting change. Besides the more beefy VRM components we need to power the CPU as well, cooling is very important. One of the key components that allows us to boost the CPU performance this much are our ice blade fans. And this is also what allows us to make the whisper mode so quiet. In the 2021 model, we now use a huge single heat pipe, which can carry more heat and move it faster, and has the added benefit of touching the entire CPU without any air gaps you usually get when using multiple smaller heat pipes to cool a single chip. The ice blade fans are made of a high-performance material called LCP, or liquid crystal polymer, which allows us to create fan blades that are thinner than ever at just 0.2 millimeters. The thinner the fan blades, the more blades we can fit on the fan, and the more blades on the fan, the more air they can push with each rotation. So you either get more airflow at the same speed and about the same noise, or you can reduce the fan speed and reduce fan noise and still get about the same airflow. These fan blades also feature a 3D curved design for more efficient airflow and improved acoustics. And powering the fans are three-phase motors that are mounted on a long-lasting and silent fluid dynamics bearing that further reduces vibrations and noise, and extends the lifespan. Overall, the ice blade fans produce 30% more airflow compared to regular fans of the same size, the same diameter. It's really thanks to the new ice blade fans that we're able to run the CPU at 28 watts sustained and enable our 28 decibels whisper mode. Even with all this power and performance, the Zenbook Duo 14 has been Intel Evo certified to provide the best laptop experience. In essence, Intel Evo is a new standard for laptops that will guarantee very high performance levels based on the latest technologies. 9 or more hours of battery life, the ability to get at least 4 hours of battery life with a 30-minute charge, and the ability to wake up from sleep within a single second. In every Evo performance requirement, the 2021 Zenbook Duo 14 exceeds the standard set by Intel for certification and still provides users with the benefit of the second display. So to sum it up, the 2021 Zenbook Duo models come with a much improved ScreenPad Plus. You can now make even more of the extra screen space, use it for even more tasks, and get more done in less time. It tilts up for a better viewing angle, is brighter, comes with a long list of software and usability upgrades, uses the latest and greatest CPUs and GPUs. As you can tell, there is a long list of improvements to almost every part of the 2021 Zenbook Duo 14. And we are proud to announce that we've been awarded CES 2021 Innovation Awards for both the Zenbook Duo 14 and its larger brother, the Zenbook Pro Duo 15 OLED. Thank you for watching, and if this deep dive video has left any of your questions unanswered and you want to know even more, do let us know.